Hold on, we've got a local, everybody. So did the station wagon have wood paneling,
Of
Lauren?
course. Everywhere I put my foot down, a museum springs up.
And pretty much there's nowhere else to look at Christmas lights. Those live oaks just kind of doing a little swaying. Thanks. That's a great secret tip. That's a good one. I might work there remotely from here on out.
It's a really pretty
It's real
place.
pretty. If only those trees could talk, right?
Oh my God.
Some people travel hundreds, even thousands of miles to experience places like Brookgreen Gardens. For those of us who live along the Carolina coast, it's right in our backyard. Today, I'm joined by Lauren Joseph, VP of Marketing for Brookgreen Gardens, to talk about the history, vision, and extraordinary legacy behind one of the most beautiful and meaningful places here in the Grand Strand. This is a conversation about art, nature, and the quiet luxury of living somewhere truly special. I'm your podcast host and local Myrtle Beach area realtor, Celia Klein. It's time. We're coasting. Hello, everyone from a sunny and beautiful Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Can you see behind us? Just look. It is absolutely beautiful. That ocean, perfect. It's why we're here. Aunt B is also here. She's riding shotgun in the coasting convertible. And while I've been out doing, that real estate thing, helping people make this Myrtle Beach dream come true, you and the hubby, well, you've been enjoying some fun events. Yeah, tell me about it.
And this area has some great entertainment venues.
Yeah.
And lately we've been seeing a few tribute performers.
Oh, okay.
So we went to see Billy Joel and Elton John together, Piano Men.
I love it.
That's they're called the Piano Men. And we've seen Billy Joel in concert.
The real one.
The real one. My husband's seen both of them together doing their joint concert. But this was really a lot of fun. And both of the entertainers were excellent.
Were they?
They really were. They put on a great show. Billy did some of his stuff. Elton did some of his stuff. They did some things together. They did a lot of audience participation. And you know what song they sang?
Oh, which one did he sing, Aunt B?
Hold Me Closer, Tony Dancer.
We are familiar with this song, aren't we? You were like, oh my gosh, that's the song.
And he actually made a joke about it, which was really cute. He talked about how so many people think that it's about
the butchered lyrics of the Tiny Dancer song. Poor Elton. I love it. But this kind of reminds me actually of the over the holidays, we actually saw the movie together where it was the tribute for Neil Diamond, and they were, what was it? I want to call it Thunder and Lightning, right?
Thunder and Lightning.
Yeah.
The movie was Sung Blue.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. I haven't seen a movie that good in a long time.
It was good, wasn't it?
It was really good. It was exciting. Hugh Jackman and Kate Hudson did a wonderful job. And we had a good time too.
It was just, and that theater was packed, wasn't it?
It was.
But it just reminds me that, they played in, theaters or whatever, and in front of a ton of people.
Right.
So even though it's, Elton John-ish, it still, gets a ton of people to come, and it is entertaining. It's a great show.
We went the other day to Legends over by Broadway at the beach, and they had a show called Liverpool Legends, which was all about the Beatles. Now, the show is put together, or was originally put together by George Hamilton's sister, and she interviews musicians all over the place to pick the best musicians to play in the show. And these guys, they did a great job, and they covered the Beatles throughout, all of their iterations and the things that changed them. And it was a matinee, and it was packed.
And how many people have you heard now? I'm trying to think. The actress Jamie Lee Curtis. She always talks whenever she does her interview. She's like, would you performers please stop having concerts that don't start until sometime like 8 to 10 or,
Right.
whatever, 10 p.m. She's like, I need one around 4 o'clock so that I can enjoy it and then be asleep by 9.
So most of the people there were seniors. But the joy on these people's faces was unbelievable.
Oh.
The band had everybody come up to the front of the stage. Usually like you're sitting there and you get that one or two people who stand up in their seat and move around. But the band made everyone get up and kind of rush the stage. And so you see all of these older people, and they were dancing to Twist and Shout. And he says, now you look like a bunch of teenagers from 1964.
Oh,
and
that's
everybody's,
great.
yay! But you're dressed like their parents. But it was really fun. It was very entertaining. I would recommend it when they come back in town. Definitely go see these Liverpool legends.
And so we also not only have that, but we just have so many great theaters around here or venues that allow for, entertainers. So the real Amy Grant has come, and also one that I'm excited about. I love my 80s music. You know that, right? Okay. So Flock of Seagulls is coming to House of Blues in May.
Wow.
And they are very much, if you were going to say, like, Alexa, play new wave 80s, Flock of Seagulls in Asia, they would be all over that. Let's just say I remember them because they were one of my faves that I listened to on my Sony Walkman. Throwback.
Excuse me.
I took your breath away on that one.
You
too.
really did.
But
I had one of those little ones that would hook to my lapel on my
Oh.
jacket. It was a little tiny thing. It was probably maybe
We're gonna have to bring these
2
in, don't
inches
you
by
think?
2
I
inches.
mean-
I'm gonna have to look.
Yeah.
I'll bring that back with my 20-inch cell phone.
Right. I love it. I mean, come on. I was definitely a part of the decade or generation that totally went home and recorded songs off the radio onto my cassette. I mean, you had to, right? The original mixtape, So, but what's nice is that, now the venues, it's getting warmer finally. Aunt B, finally. So now we're not just going to be inside, which I'm great that we do have places to go when it's colder, but now we're going to be going outside to see these things. And if we're going outside, then guess what? It's time for shopping. For our
Yes.
spring and summer clothes. I'm so excited.
Well, let me just add one more thing.
Yeah,
Before we
yeah.
talk about shopping, there is a website called myrtlelive.com.
Yes.
Where you can go and you can see all of the live events that are going on all around the city.
You know what? I'm actually trying to get the creator of that page to come be on our podcast.
Oh, that would be great.
Yes.
That
yeah.
would be great.
So,
But speaking of shopping,
I can't, I'm
I
sucked
love
in.
your blouse.
Oh, thank
That's
you.
really cute.
Thank you. Well, I know that you and I do like our Talbots, you
Yes.
know. And they do, not only do they have the Talbots, it's its own, structure that's kind of in the Golden Mile section of Myrtle Beach,
72nd and Kings Highway.
just in case anyone wants to know. Well, there's the Talbots outlet, Tanger Outlets,
Right.
the one by Highway
Right.
22. But yes, I have been getting sucked into these adorable women's clothing boutiques. Okay, so thank you for this. This is actually from one of those boutiques. It's called, and I love the name of it. Of course, I have to shop there. It's called Sachet on Main. Doesn't that sound cute? And that's in Conway.
In Conway, on
right?
Main?
Yep, right on downtown Conway. But you know what? A lot of our places have, and I have to make sure I'm looking to make sure I get them all. If I'm in the Market Common shopping, because there's adorable things
Right.
there, right? So you've got Style Me Boutique is there. And then you also have, even though the name of the place is Centro Shoes, there's 2 locations, one's in Market Common, then you actually have clothes in there that are so cute.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So I get sucked into both the clothes and the shoes, I mean, and then, of course, when you go a little bit further north, you're still in Myrtle Beach, Magnolia Row. Have you ever, that's where Tenfold Biscuit and
I know
44th
what
and
you
Kings,
mean.
all that stuff. Okay, well, there's 2 awesome boutique stores in there. One is Scout and Molly's, and the other one I think is called Melrose Boutique. Gorgeous, gorgeous. Again, and then North Myrtle, you of course have Monkeys, which is the boutique that's in Barefoot
Right,
Landing.
in Barefoot.
Yeah. And then my favorite one, the name of it just sounds so adorable. That would be called Hot Honey Boutique. I mean, come on now, sassy. I know there's more, but basically what I'm trying to say, Aunt B, is that you and I are going to be spending a day shopping. Okay.
Okay.
And then you know that if you're spending a day shopping, you work up an appetite.
We always work up an appetite.
So that means we're going to have to go somewhere to get a bite to eat and a beverage afterwards, which is our perfect segue into the Aunt B Yummy to the Tummy segment. So take it away. Where are we going?
Okay. And I got a perfect one for
good.
shopping, ladies, fancy outfits. We might even have to change before we go.
Okay. We're going to go to the counter and be like, can you cut the tag?
Yeah. So it's called Cantina Imperfecto.
Oh.
And you would think Imperfecto. Is there something wrong there? No.
It is in fact perfecto.
It's perfect. What I love about it is, number one, it's probably one of the prettiest restaurants in the area. You walk in, it's lush, there's mirrors and everything looks clean and new and sparkly and shiny. And then you sit down and you look at the menu and wow. It is got a Mexican theme. So, of course, the first thing that you're looking at, especially after a hard day of shopping,
yes,
and
like
hopefully you hit it for happy hour at the bar, but they have margaritas that are not only delicious but beautiful.
Wow.
So whoever does the margaritas, I mean, they singe the lemon and they put little edible flowers floating in them, and they're out of this world. My favorite is the skinny margarita.
Okay.
And they don't put any sugar in it,
Okay.
but it's still yummy to my tummy. Some of our favorites there are, my husband loves the salmon. I love their grilled grouper tacos, which are really
love
good.
grouper.
And then I know you're going to turn your nose up, but they do have that octopus on the menu.
I thought you were going to, what I thought you were going to talk about? Avocado.
Well, they have that. They have that too. but really, really good. I haven't had anything on their menu that hasn't been great.
I know. And it's a very, to your point, just their decor, it's very contemporary, kind of like you've just been taken away to this different place, right?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. And it's right where Drift is, the same little center.
Yeah, that we talked about in,
Cipriana Drive, whatever that is.
Yeah, because Drift is the one that you talked about. Then Rob and I went to it. And then literally on the opposite end of that plaza, you're absolutely right. Yeah. So in the kind of the Grand Dunes section of Myrtle Beach. Yes.
So,
I
can't wait to go now.
I was just going to say, and our weekend plans now are shopping and eating and drinking. Fantastic. Well, another great segment. Thank you so much for introducing us to yet another. I mean, you know what? We're going to be around a while, Aunt B, because there's like over 4,000 restaurants in our area.
I know.
So.
I'll never run out of things to talk about, especially when it comes to food.
But at this point, we're going to take our break now, and we're going to bring in the VP of Marketing for Brookgreen Gardens.
Oh, I can't wait to.
I know. Lauren is going to tell us about all these beautiful things.
It's one of my favorite places.
It really is. And it's so special. So I can't wait to learn more. So here we go to the break, and we'll be right back.
Expanding Horizons, a Grand Strand collection is now on view at the Myrtle Beach Museum of Art. Handpicked by the Art Museum's curator Liz Miller, this exhibit shows off the museum's permanent collection, in addition to a large selection of our latest acquisitions. Expect some long-time visitor favorites, as well as some works that haven't been displayed in quite a while. The work will be presented in new and unexpected ways, challenging how viewers approach, engage with what they think what the object means. Be prepared to stretch your brain. Visit myrtlebeachartmuseum.org for more information.
Welcome back. So one of the things that makes living along the South Carolina coast so special is that we're surrounded by places people travel from all over the country to experience. And Brookgreen Gardens, it's located off the banks of the Waccamaw River in Myrtle's Inlet. Well, guess what? That's at the top of the list. Today, I'm joined by Lauren Joseph, VP of Marketing for Brookgreen Gardens, to talk about the story behind this incredible place, the vision that created it, and why it continues to be one of the true treasures of our area. So Lauren, welcome to Coasting Podcast.
Oh, thanks for having me.
We are delighted.
Excited to be here.
You know what? This is one of those podcast episodes that if we wanted to, it could be a marathon because there is just so much about this.
Exactly.
Yes.
More than you imagine.
Yeah. So as you know, part of our purpose of having this podcast is to, either, give information to people who are thinking about moving here, or maybe they just made this their home and they're still trying to figure out everything about their people, place, and pace, right? So we always like to ask our guests that come in, can you talk about your personal story? Did you move here? Tell us about it.
Well, I grew up about 50 miles inland.
Hold on. We've got a local, everybody. Wow. This is great. Okay.
Yes. And I've been, you were talking about, flashing back to your 80s.
Yes.
Well, I mean, I was at the Magic Attic in the 70s watching Mother's Finest.
Oh my gosh, I love this.
Right on the beach in Myrtle Beach. So yeah, I grew up in Mullins, and so we had a beach house at Litchfield. We were always down here in a little town. We had to come to Myrtle Beach to get our hair cut by, a good haircut, a good salon. So it's, I feel like Myrtle Beach has been home, and I am a South Carolina native.
Oh my goodness. To grow up as a beach kid, how much fun is that? I love that. So when did you start with Brookgreen? How did you come about getting working with them, joining the organization?
Well, I had been working in marketing for a while. I actually worked with LHWH Advertising here in Myrtle Beach, and then with another marketing firm. And I was the marketing and tourism director for Georgetown County.
Oh, okay.
And the person who was the vice president of marketing at Brookgreen at that time called me one day and said, I'm going to retire. Do you know of anybody who might be interested in my job? And I said, I'm sending my resume right now.
So how long have you been working for Brookgreen?
So in February, I had 9 years.
That is fantastic. I mean, I just can't imagine all the different things you've seen. And so, okay, we're going to get into all of that. But even before then, do you recall your first experience at Brookgreen?
Yeah, well, kind of.
Okay.
I don't actually remember my first visit there because I was too little.
Okay.
I do have a picture of me and my big brothers on either side of me, and I look like I'm about 3 years old. And I remember when you go to Brookgreen now, the little cement pathways that go out from the main gardens and Oak Alley. Cars used to drive on that.
Really?
And I remember being in our big old station wagon, driving down one of those little paths, and because it was one way in and one way out, and thinking, oh, the road's too small. And But yeah, so it's been a long, long time.
So did the station wagon have wood paneling?
Of
Lauren?
course.
I mean, it's not a station wagon.
Absolutely. That's what. Yes, absolutely.
Exactly. I mean, again, I keep doing this whole, there's so much. So we're going to try our darndest here for someone who has never been, briefly describe Brookgreen Gardens.
Okay. My elevator speech.
Right.
So Brookgreen is a unique combination of art and nature and history. We are the finest museum of American figurative sculpture in the world.
Oh my gosh.
Right here in Myrtle Inlet, South Carolina. We are a major conservation organization. We work with species conservation for red wolves, for North American river otters. We work with sculpture conservation. We're actually, for outdoor sculptures, we are the authority on how to conserve sculpture.
Oh my goodness.
We're the oldest sculpture garden in America. And we're a low country history site, and then also an amazing and award-winning botanical garden and a zoo.
That's always the one that is just
So,
like
yeah.
the gives you the whiplash. Excuse me, what did you did you
And
just
an
say
accredited zoo. So now we're not the kind of zoo where you're going to see giraffes and and elephants and those type of things, but you're going to see the native animals and wildlife of South Carolina and the Low Country. And really, that's what Archer Huntington's vision was, that we would be a quiet joining of hands between nature and science. And so we're all about conserving native plants, native species, and our native area. Not only there's about 400 acres of Brookgreen. That's what you walk around and see. But we conserve over 9,000 acres.
Oh my goodness.
That's the entire property. And so we're conserving thousands of acres of longleaf pine forest, which is, the only habitat for the endangered red-cockaded woodpecker.
Oh my.
So
Okay.
lots and lots of things that are going on in our missions. And we are a nonprofit, mission-based nonprofit, do a lot of education work as well.
So you mentioned the last name Huntington. So the Huntingtons were the original owners.
Yes.
So, and again, that's another podcast in and of itself. But how did we, transition from that being privately owned? It sounds like it was a part of their vision, if
Absolutely.
you will, to offer this eventually to the community. So when did it go from private to becoming Brookgreen Gardens for the world?
It's absolutely amazing how quickly, because the property was originally, it was 4 separate rice plantations.
Okay.
It was after the right before the turn of the 1800s into the 1900s. It was combined into the 4 plantations were combined into like a hunting area.
Okay.
The Huntingtons came down looking for a place to be a getaway spot and found this property and fell in love with it. And within a year decided we can't keep this to ourselves. So in 1931, they formed Brookgreen Gardens Corporation, a nonprofit for the preservation of low country flora and fauna.
Now, they also really quickly, I want to make sure that we add that they also had their home across the street,
Yes,
right?
they built where the state park is now is actually Brookgreen property. The state leases that from Brookgreen, and Adelia was their beach home. They had a house that they built on the riverside as well, but it's been taken down since then. It wasn't ever meant to be the main house, but they started working on Brookgreen and putting sculpture in, and also just they were putting people to work, because the people who were living in that area at this time, a lot of them were still descendants of the enslaved folks who had been on the plantations. This was the 30s. This was the Depression. Nobody had jobs. A lot of artists also were struggling, because in the 20s, people were, they were getting art. They were commissioning sculpture for their gardens, but now suddenly they weren't. So the Huntingtons, they gave people jobs in the inlet. They built a clinic that was a free clinic for anybody who could get there. They staffed it with a 24/7 nurse, brought in doctors, brought in dentists. They built a school on Sandy Island. They bought sculpture, commissioned sculpture for the gardens to help artists, be able to continue their work and life. And they were just amazing philanthropists. And Mr. Huntington, one of his quotes was, "Everywhere I put my foot down, a museum springs up." Because like in Newport, the Mariners Museum, that's a Huntington museum. The Hispanic Society Museum in New York City was founded by Archer Huntington, and there are others that he had his hands in.
What I think I love about this is hearing that it is a couple that consciously chose to actively impact area around them.
Absolutely.
And they could have, if they wanted to, because it was their beach home, just say, this is my beach home. Let me live in this, beauty, and then go right back up to our other home. But here they're saying, no, here's, almost like the list of things to do never ended.
Right, exactly. And they continue to impact Georgetown County and the Myrtle Beach area. Brookgreen is one of the largest employers in Georgetown County. They kept that free clinic open until the 60s, until the Georgetown hospital system was actually built.
Wow.
And then all of the equipment that they had put into the clinic at Brookgreen, they sent to Georgetown and donated that. They were very philanthropic people and, had been very fortunate. Archer, because he had inherited, a wonderful fortune from his father. And Anna was just an amazing artist and businesswoman.
And I can't wait. We're gonna talk about her because I am
Yes.
fascinated by her in particular.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the things we always have to talk about is that if in general you have heard about Brookgreen Gardens, most likely it is because of an event around the holidays referred to as Nights of 1,000
Right.
Candles, right? Okay. And so how long has Brookgreen Gardens hosted that?
The first year for the Christmas event or the holiday event was 1999, and it was called the Luminaria Festival.
Okay.
That was the first one. The year 2000 was when it became Nights of 1,000 Candles.
All right.
Started out very small. And I think back then it was maybe 2 nights, just one weekend. And it's grown and grown and grown. And this past year, we set another attendance record with over 116,000 people coming to Brookgreen Gardens.
Oh, my
over
goodness.
22 nights, I believe.
That is phenomenal. And I just, it's really, we talk about it. I love to kind of be a wordsmith. And the reason I'm hesitating is because every time I go to Nights of 1,000 Candles and I see those beautiful, it's just like, almost like a waterfall string of lights in some particular places. And I'm always trying to find the word and I'm always at a loss. The closest one I can think of, everybody, is majestic. It is just, a natural beauty version of the awe you find in anything Disney around Christmas. Does that help at all? As somebody who's listening, it's just, places where you wouldn't think to look to find a beautiful setting of light, it's there.
Right.
Along with, of course, it's always usually accompanied by some live music and, and of course, your beverages and things to eat, food trucks, etc. It really is just, USA Today every year pretty much is like, and pretty much there's nowhere else to look at Christmas lights except Brookgreen Gardens. It's amazing.
And we're very fortunate that a lot of places, they hire like a group to come in and put their lights up. And it's kind of like taking these Christmas lights and putting them over a garden. Ours is we have an internal team that has been doing this since we started it. We started it, actually, it was mostly volunteers working on it. But we actually have a public exhibits team now. And they are working year-round designing new things. And the ideas is not laying over the top of Brookgreen. It's integrated within Brookgreen.
Yes.
And it's highlighting, even with the sculpture that are there. And so sometimes I walk around there at night and I'm like, why have I never seen that sculpture? It's just, and I walked by it how many times, but maybe it just didn't jump out at me, but it's lit up at night that makes it different.
I just, I think I've already told you this a million times, but the poetry garden, I just love. Again, could stay there forever. But because I always like to say, because this is what people are if they know about Brookgreen, that's probably how they found out about it. So as the VP of marketing, what do you want to say? But I want you to know about this. And I know there's a lot, but maybe that is from the standpoint of either another event or regular offering, that if you really wish you could introduce it to people, what would that be, do you think?
Well, particularly if people are moving down here, retiring here, our volunteer program is just amazing. We have over 400 volunteers
Oh.
who work in all areas of the gardens. They work with horticulture, they work with sculpture, they work as docents in the galleries, docents in the gardens.
So you could truly be introduced to it all at that point.
All of it. And then we have a really vibrant and growing program called Brookgreen Brookgreen University. And so there are classes, and just off the top of my head, thinking some of the ones that are coming up, there's a cross-stitch class, there's a plein air painting class, there's indigo dyeing, history lectures, just all of these things that you can register to do if you're a member, because it's really the best membership.
I agree.
I mean, it's so inexpensive to have a year-long pass to Brookgreen Gardens for your entire family is $125.
That's great.
And if you want to move up into a giving level, we have all the way up to a $5,000 giving level. But it really is, what you get for your membership is really amazing.
What I really like that you offer is your music during the summer. So tell a little bit about that too.
Well, during the summer, we had so many people that were saying, I want to come see the lights in the summertime. And so we do a summer light now. And along with summer light, we have bands that come and play, and food trucks. And the summer light is not Nights of 1,000 Candles. Nights of 1,000 Candles, everywhere you move, everywhere you look, there are lights everywhere. Summer light's quieter.
Intimate.
It's more intimate. It's
chill. It's coasting.
Yeah,
it's coasting.
Really, it's coasting, absolutely. And, and a lot of times it gets so hot during the day. And if we get a little afternoon thunderstorm that rolls through about 5 o'clock, that knocks about 10 degrees off. And then in the evenings,
Those live oaks just kind of doing a little swaying.
and you're getting a little breeze off of the river. And so we do that on Wednesday nights and Saturday nights. And it's growing every year. For our members, we offer season tickets. So you can get a very inexpensive season ticket and come all summer if you want to.
Now I'm the kid in you, we're gonna switch gears. I gotta find out about the zoo. What's your favorite animal at the zoo?
Oh my gosh. Well, I mean, I could sit and watch the otters play all day long.
Oh yes.
They are so fun.
They are entertaining.
They really are. And we have 2 different otter exhibits. We have one that's a natural exhibit. So, and it's tidal. Even as far up as we are, the river has a 3 to 5 foot tidal flow. So some people are like, oh, that exhibit looks messy. Well, it's because you're at low tide. But the otters love it. And then we also have a tank. And it's so cute to see, particularly little kids, when they're looking at the otters in the tank. And if they walk along, the otters will follow them. And then they figure that out. And so then they start running back and forth, and the otters are swimming inside. But they're just so cute. And
then we moved to the elegance of the sculpture and this collection that is the largest. And I know I get overwhelmed. So what do you recommend for somebody who's just like, all right, either today or this month or whatever, I'm going to focus on the sculpture beauty of Brookgreen Gardens. How do they understand the significance? Is there a book? Is there a record?
Well, we have some wonderful volunteers at the visitor center that can help you kind of craft your
route, your
Brookgreen
trail
adventure.
Okay.
Because if you've got kids and you want to go to the zoo or you want to do the boat ride excursion, that may take up most of your day. If you really are an artist and you want to explore, some the galleries. That's another, do the galleries, do the Offner Center, which is an amazing visual storage facility that has smaller pieces. All metal sculpture starts with clay. And so there are some clay like sketches that famous artists have done of monuments that are all over the country, but you may see a miniature version of it in the Offner Center. And the other really cool thing is, you can get a membership and you can come anytime, but if you buy a ticket, your ticket's good for 7 days.
Oh,
So, like for vacationers that are coming
Yes.
down, I'm always like, get your ticket on Monday, because then you can come back all week.
I did not know that.
Yes, your ticket is always good for 7 days. So,
Thanks. That's a great secret tip. That's a good one. Oh, that's wonderful. You just had a big ribbon cutting of yes, and so I know that it has an official name. I'll let you give the official name, but I know it is a conservatory and basically indoor gardens, and so I've had the luxury of being there and attending the ribbon cutting, and I think I might work there remotely from here on out because it is just that beautiful. So tell us about it.
it is the Purdy Welcome Center and Conservatory Gardens.
Okay.
And the name is Purdy, Purdy. It's not my South Carolina that's saying it's a really pretty
It's
place.
real pretty.
But it is a beautiful building. It also can be used for events. We have this wonderful green wall of 1,800 tropical plants. There's an orchid wall that has anywhere from 80 to 90 blooming orchids on it at any time. All different types of orchids. I think, the orchids that we see in the grocery store are basically Phalaenopsis. That's the type of orchid that is.
Okay.
This orchid wall, I was up there yesterday looking at it, and with 80 orchids, there's one Phalaenopsis, but it's all blooming orchids. We have about 800 orchids in our collection, and we rotate them through on the wall as they bloom. Then these beautiful, big beds. We have sculpture in there as well. So we not only have outdoor sculpture gardens, we have indoor sculpture gardens.
Yes. So if I wasn't overwhelmed before, I have totally crossed that threshold now, right? Now tell me about what's in the center of the conservatory, because I thought that was fascinating too.
Oh, yes, that is really cool. It's Brookgreen in miniature. It's a company out of Kentucky. They're called Applied Imagination. They have done for over 30 years, like these trains, the HO gauge and different gauges of train setups. And if you've ever been to the New York Botanical Garden, they have a holiday train set up. And they've done this botanical gardens and museums all over the country and all over the world, actually. Well, we talked to them about not doing a train for us, but just actually doing a little kind of three-dimensional map of Brookgreen Gardens. And this is the first time they've done something like this, and they loved doing it. They replicated about 7 of the major sculptures that you see in the gardens. So when you are looking at it, you're like, oh, okay, I recognize that sculpture. I recognize the Pegasus, which is at the back of the garden. It's the largest sculpture in the garden. So you see, kind of get your bearings of where you're going. It's absolutely so detailed and beautiful.
It is.
And the other really cool thing about it is that it's completely made out of natural materials.
Oh.
It's all dried plant materials, nuts, bark, leaves, and some of it was even harvested from Brookgreen Gardens. When we were doing some cleaning out at the end of last winter, we boxed up some old plant material and palm fronds and things like that and shipped them to Kentucky, and they used them.
And I just love, how thorough someone, whether it's the staff, whether it's the board, how purposeful you are being in terms of incorporating the natural, if you will,
Yes.
in so many different elements. I really quickly, and then we're going to take a break, but I think about, and this is just if somebody's listening as opposed to watching, I think about the history of all of these sculptures, and you're telling us, here are the Huntingtons, especially Anna Hyatt Huntington, saying, commissioning, I want the amazing, artist out of New York to create this amazing sculpture that, think how big and how heavy. You're in the, either, like you said, we'll just say early 1900s. How is that getting to the banks of the Waccamaw and then on display, right? And so, because this was one, I had asked you this before, of just like, there you are in the Waccamaw. Can you imagine if you're just staying there? Maybe you're the guy who's fishing one day. You know what I mean? And I just think of the visual of, here comes this barge that has this massive, stunning sculpture, right? That, I mean, because I would assume that's how it made its way there.
Some of them, yes. Some of them were actually carved at Brookgreen. We do have we had several studios there and stone carvers that came, but most of the metal sculptures that have to be cast, they would have been shipped in. When the Huntingtons came, they first stepped onto Brookgreen from a riverboat. So they went to Georgetown, got a boat from Georgetown to Brookgreen, and when they were building Atalaya,
all the materials
came in by boat. And if you're standing on Oak Alley at Brookgreen, a lot of people don't realize, but those of us who've lived here all of our lives do, that straight road of Oak Alley goes all the way across Highway 17 into Atalaya. And that used to be the entrance to
and when you see that it's that tree covered, the canopy, it's so beautiful.
So it's one straight shot all the way from the back of Brookgreen all the way to Atalaya. That's been, of course, has been changed a little bit over the days, but
if
the
only
main
those
things
trees
only
could talk, right?
Oh my gosh! Yes.
So we're going to take a quick break, but when we get back, we're gonna touch on the amazingness of Anna Hyatt Huntington, and then we're also going to talk a little bit about how this conservatory really is this bridge of how Brookgreen is getting into the future and other plans you have. So we will be right back.
The museum is delighted to have the works of local artist Joanne Morgan currently on display. The exhibit, entitled The Morning After, is available to view through April 5th. Based in Surfside Beach, South Carolina, professional artist and retired educator Joanne Morgan considers her artwork her form of activism against violence. Her fabric memorials, as she refers to them, as quilted walls hanging that pay tribute to victims of violence. The work evolved out of the convergence of global and personal national events, beginning with the tragedies that ignited the Black Lives Matter movement in 2020. For more information, including museum hours, visit myrtlebeachartmuseum.org.
All right. So as I mentioned, I really love hearing all of the, amazing things about Anna Hyatt Huntington.
Yes.
And so, who was she and what kind of key roles did she play that you want to share with us?
Well, Anna Hyatt Huntington was an amazing person. Before she ever met Archer, she was an established artist. Anna von Hyatt. She was, at one point, she was in Paris. She did the first sculpture of Joan of Arc on a horse in period-appropriate armor. You can see that at Riverside Park in New York City today. That has been there. But when she was in Paris working on it, and there was some award she was up for, and she did not win because people didn't think that there was no way a woman could have done that by herself. She was a force of nature. When Archer Huntington met her, he had to ask her to marry him 3 times before she finally said yes. In the 20s, as an artist, she was one of very few women she was making over $50,000 a year. Oh, wow. In the 20s.
Right.
Which is millions in today's. So she was, even though Archer was, fabulously wealthy, she was already a very successful woman and a very successful business person, doing commissions, doing her own artwork, and just amazing. She loved animals. Her father was a scientist. She actually had a photographic memory. I mean, you look at the Fighting Stallions, the sculpture that's out front of Brookgreen. She was one of the first people to cast in aluminum. Oh. So that's an aluminum sculpture. But if you stop and you just look at it, the detail, she wasn't taking a picture of stallions rearing up and fighting. She knew the physiology of them. She knew the musculature. She knew how their bodies worked, and she could see something in her head and sculpt it. So just a prodigious talent.
And another word I use for her is fearless.
Absolutely.
Because when you go to Atalaya and you see that section that says, this is where, what is it, the bears and the, so tell about that.
That was one of the reasons that we had a zoo was she, had animals to sculpt from. And there were bears when I was a kid. There were bears at Brookgreen. We have plans to, in the long range forecast, we have plans to bring black bears back to Brookgreen. But yes, she had, she kept animals to be able to actually, study them and sculpt them as well. So she was just, she was really an amazing woman. And, when someone asks you one of those questions about who would you like to have dinner with, living or dead.
Right.
Oh my gosh, I would love to have Anna and Archer sit down for dinner. And
because I think of, you always talk about the people who are, right brain, left brain.
Right.
She was clearly
both.
Yes, both.
Yes.
I mean, savvy businesswoman and really just stretching the limits of all types of art. And to your point, people saying that couldn't have been.
Right.
And then all of a sudden she's the leader and they are following her.
And she was still sculpting up to the year before she passed away. An exhibit that we're having this spring at Brookgreen is the Society of Animal Artists. And it formed in 1960. And Anna was one of the first members of the executive committee. She was the vice president when they formed the Society of Animal Artists. So she was a founder.
And I would say, for any maybe teachers, parents that are watching this podcast, since this episode is in March, which is Women History Month, I would highly encourage that this be one of the Women in History that you just dive in, get your kids to learn all about it. And who knows, maybe that's around a time of a spring break or something. Make the trip down here and find out and just see some of this in person. Because again, it is one of those where you just think, that was the early 1900s, and and it's, so if it's spectacular now, you can only imagine what a pioneer she was perceived to be then, and certainly was. So now we take that history, and Brookgreen says, how do we continue to appeal to the next generations? And obviously the conservatory was an answer to some of that. But tell me about some of the things that you're doing.
Right. And not just the conservatory. We just finished up a capital campaign, which was called the Campaign for the Next Generation. And that included a new sculpture studio. We have sculptors come in from all over the country, all over the world, and teach small classes, 12 to 13 people in our sculpture studio. We also have a conservation lab for sculpture. So because particularly where we are with the river on one side and the ocean on the other side, there's a lot of salt in the air, and that is hard on metallic sculpture. So that they need to be taken care of. It's also hard on marble sculpture. So that was one. We got a wonderful new red wolf habitat. Red wolves are the most endangered canid, like dog type, in North America. And we are part of the species, the Red Wolf Safe program, saving animals from extinction.
Okay.
So we have 2 breeding pairs, hopefully. Hopefully they like each other. And the closest population of wild red wolves is Alligator River in North Carolina.
Okay.
So we're close enough that if we're able to successfully have a litter, if there's also a mother in the wild, we could possibly foster some pups up there so that they could grow up wild. But we're just helping to keep those animals from going extinct. And that's a big part of our mission.
And again, purposeful, thorough, every element of what you have, whether it's art, nature, conservation, it's all, being thought of for the next generation. And I think that's just fascinating. As we wrap up here, one of the things I really want to talk about is just the emotion of that of Brookgreen Gardens. And, is there a way to describe the experience in that way?
It really can be a wonderful place of solace. Sometimes when I have a really busy day or I'm frustrated with somebody or the phone has just rung off the hook, the nice thing is I can just get up from my desk and I can walk out and I can walk through the gardens and walk through some of the gardens that people maybe not even know about. We've got some new gardens that may not be on, a little off the beaten path. But I think just to be able to, the wonder of being able to walk through nature and then also have art. It's been proven that nature and art help your soul, help your health. Walking, of course, is great for you. We actually have a program with Tidelands that their doctors can write a prescription to come and walk at Brookgreen Gardens. And they bring us their prescription and we let them in, and they have a 30-day pass to come and walk at Brookgreen Gardens. So it's good for your mental health, it's good for your physical health, and just when I turn in to Brookgreen and you drive down that avenue of oaks, you almost feel the stress just go.
Absolutely. I'm so grateful that you've come and shared all of this with us today, because so many people, when they're thinking of the Myrtle Beach area, well, where are they thinking they're going to feel that? Well, right behind us, right? The ocean. And but to be able to introduce to people a completely different, unexpected resource that is, again, in the backyard, to just say, oh my goodness, I can feel that exact same feeling of peace and really, like you're saying, to just be there and to receive, right? I mean, because there's so much beauty and stimuli, but also things that make you curious. And I just really, we are so, I think, grateful as residents of this area to have such a gift. And I'm so thankful that you came and shared it with us today.
Well, I'll have to come back and talk about more stuff.
Absolutely. Well, we are wrapping up another episode of Coasting. We are so grateful that you have continued to listen to all of our episodes as you begin to learn more layers about our Myrtle Beach area and beyond. So again, if you've got any questions or suggestions about other places we need to talk about, I sure hope you'll let me know. We've got an email address of coastingpodcastsc@gmail.com. And you know what? We keep telling you about all these great things. If you're not already living here, you should be. So give me a call. I'm a local real estate agent, and my phone number will be at the end of the episode. Again, we thank you so much for joining us. And as always, keep it coasting.
The executive producer of the Coasting Podcast is Celia Klein. Producer is Michael Lehman of Frameway Visuals. The opinions expressed herein are solely those of Celia, Aunt Bee, and any special guests. Good news, agree or disagree, you have that liberty. Special thanks to Rick Houston, host of the very popular Winston Sing podcast. Elizabeth Gafford. A special shout out to the podcast listeners, Karen Fuller. Thank you all for your support. Celia is a licensed realtor in both South and North Carolina. For any assistance either buying or selling real estate, please call 843-321-9646. The Coasting Podcast can be found wherever you currently enjoy other favorite podcasts. Please send all comments and questions to coastingpodcastsc@gmail.com. We thank you for listening.